So we had something surprising happen when we did some numbers.
Yes, and this came out of, we determined at the end of last year.
Yeah. And we actually found out that we ended up saving more money by percentages when I became a stay-at-home mom and we went down to one income. And we're going to share how we did that here in this episode. But before we get started, if you're new to our channel, we are the Canny Couple. I'm Julia.
And I'm Aaron.
We're a small homestead family in rural Virginia that work every single day to merge homesteading and frugality. And if you're new to our channel, you might not know. Before, about a year ago, I was...
About a year and a couple months ago.
I actually worked full-time, so we were a two-income family. We were a dual-income family. But then we became 100% debt-free. We worked really hard to get there, and once we did that, we made a really big change and brought me home full-time.
Yeah. Yep.
And we weren't expecting this.
Definitely not.
We were not. We were shocked. I told Aaron.
I was worried.
He was worried. We were both worried. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what to think about. So as we looked at our end of the year numbers and really started putting things together, because we've made a lot of changes with our budget throughout the year. We've added a lot of things. That we've been looking at. Aaron's been doing a great job putting these things into our spreadsheets and keeping up with it. And as we've added them, we've realized we were saving at a much higher rate than we actually realized we were.
Correct.
And so we were just really shocked at what our year would look like. So I guess the point of this video is to say it is possible to save on one income.
It is.
It really is. Now, I will say we are a small family.
Yep.
And we live extremely frugally, and we focus on our needs versus our wants.
Correct.
So, and we do need to put out a big disclaimer here. Well, not really a disclaimer, a note, I guess to say. Our budget has never included childcare costs. So if you say, well, you just cut childcare out of there, daycare, anything like that. We actually have never paid for any childcare. We managed that while we were working between us. If you would like to hear more about that, let us know in the comments below. We'd be happy to do a video on how we manage that and set up our schedules for that. But we know a lot of families don't have that option. So when we were two incomes, we were actually putting about 70% of our take-home pay towards our debt. And now we reduced our retirement investing and everything. We weren't putting as much in retirement either.
Correct. At that time.
To
get out of debt.
To get out of debt faster. So we were putting 70% of our take-home pay towards the debt. Last year we ended up saving, tell them the number.
It was at 75%.
Yeah, that was our rate of savings. So we were kind of shocked. Aaron was expecting what?
I mean, going in, I thought 25% is the max we could have got at least.
You really?
Yeah.
Really? I was expecting 50. I wanted 60.
Yeah. I didn't think it was possible with how the prices and everything was of everything right now.
He didn't think I could lower my grocery budget.
I did not.
It shocked us both. We really couldn't believe it. And I will tell you, there's a few things that we put into place and that we started to do that I think really contribute to this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you the number one thing I think did this. And I think it's the number one thing that has really helped us get on the same page financially. It has helped us more than anything else. And we've talked about this before on our channel. It is our weekly budget meeting.
Yep.
It really is. You hear everybody talk about a monthly budget meeting. We had monthly budget meetings before.
We did.
Just about.
We did.
But in monthly budget meeting, I had no idea how much money I had left in our grocery budget. I wasn't looking at that constantly. I wasn't looking at any of these numbers. You would tell me, but I would forget.
Right.
Because we weren't sitting down and actually discussing it. A weekly budget meeting where we are intentionally sitting down, not for very long, but just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Literally just a few minutes at most.
Yeah.
Is saying, here's our numbers, here's what it looks like, what are your concerns? And what do we think is going to be our upcoming spending that we need to get this month?
Or what do we need to say, hey,
Well, we could push this out.
We can't buy this month,
We could push this out for another month or
Yeah.
next month. That's how we kind of look at this. And it really does help keep us on track. I will say it helped me rein in the grocery budget amazingly well. Like better than you ever thought I could.
Yeah. Never thought we could get that low.
And it helped us rein in a lot of our other spending areas.
Right.
It helped us really get control, I think, we had control of our finances before.
We did.
But I feel like this buttoned us up.
We weren't zoned in as much.
We were not. This helped it. It really did. Those weekly budget meetings. Now, I will say the hardest part of this, because we use Excel, is the data input, and Aaron handles that for us. That's probably the longest part of this.
We do that because it's free.
It's free. But there are apps out there you can use. That's just for us, we prefer Excel.
Right.
Now, we'll also say another part of this, and this might be a little controversial, we discuss every single purchase between the two of us before we make it. It's just, we've always done that. We kind of fell into it. It makes it a lot easier, and we make sure this is really something that's good for our family.
Yeah.
It works. It works for us. I would set aside discretionary spending for each person in your budget, and once you max it out, that's it.
That works.
It does.
Yeah. Because I think originally we might have even had that to begin with.
I don't think we had that.
At the very beginning? We might have talked about it.
We might have talked about it, but I don't think we actually had it.
Yeah.
Because we just fell into it so
Right.
naturally.
I don't think we probably tried it and it was like, wait, we're not spending anything.
We're not spending anything. We just talk about it naturally. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just normal for us, but we really don't spend money like every single day.
No.
We don't go out and buy food every day. We don't go out, like, if you leave the house, you don't go get coffee and get lunch and then get dinner on the way home. We don't do that. We plan our spending.
Correct.
So that kind of helps as well, because we can kind of control those impulse purchases as much as possible. Wants versus needs. This got very important. Now, I will say this has kind of bit us a little bit this year, because we've had a few needs that is going to affect our savings rate this year. It's not going to be as high because we had some needs that we put off. We needed a new couch. We desperately needed a new couch.
The 1982 couch was, not holding up anymore.
When we took the cover off of it, we realized there's a spring. You can see the spring, and the cushion had fallen out, and it was bad. We just never take the covers off of them.
Hey, but it held up for quite a while.
It held up for years. So we can't complain. We got the 40 years out of it. But we needed a new couch. We really should have made that purchase before now.
Right.
But we kind of held off because we were like, we need to save as much as possible. And now we have other purchases that we need to go through and make. And it's kind of just piling up. So it will affect our savings rate this year.
Right. I mean, right now, we are hovering in the 50-50 range.
Which is where we want to be.
Which is, just a couple of months in.
Which is where we want to be. And we're hoping to change that.
Yep.
But it's what we were expected. I lowered my grocery budget. I did. And I did this, and Aaron's like, I don't think you could do this.
Never thought.
And when I lowered to $250, and I told him this was my plan in a few years, he was like, he looked at me like, there's no way. There's no way you could do $250. But now when I say I'm going to lower my grocery budget $250 in a couple of years, what do you think?
It's very possible. I think most of it's going to depend on how much higher things get.
How much higher? Yes, how far we get on the homestead. That's what we have to wait for. So we were at $400. We lowered it to $300. We were actually below that last year. And our average so far for this year has been $230-ish, $240-ish dollars. So we kept it well under that for the year last year. And it looks like we're on progress for that this year as well.
Correct.
So we really watch those numbers. really careful. I cooked from scratch as much as I could. Now, I didn't have the energy to do this before.
Didn't have the time.
I didn't have the time between dealing with work, household, the cooking, the little one, and the homestead, because it can get busy, especially around May to September, October.
October.
May to October, it is crazy.
Go.
We're picking there becomes a time where we're picking every evening.
And we're talking about picking berries.
Picking berries, yeah. And it can be an hour long sometimes. And we can come in with a gallon of berries, and that would be one type of berry.
Yep.
We cut out most of our convenience foods. Now, I do keep a few small convenience items on hand.
I know, some of the convenience items are cheaper, but if you get used to buying them all the time and you think you have to have them, you're going to end up spending more on it.
Yep, really. And I could tell you, Aaron, he was snacky. This was like a big chunk of our grocery budget.
It was. Chips, taquitos, anything like that.
And he would spread it out. He got to where he was a lot better. He wouldn't eat one bag in one sitting.
I'd go through
one bag a week.
And now, none.
None. So he's really, we cut that out. We found other ways to get that snacky taste, the snacky flavor in the evenings. We cut our eating out budget.
This changed a lot because before we
had to rely on convenience a little bit more.
Right. Right now, the only thing we use the eating out for is more of a treat,
Yep. That's it.
Or a very long day out at town that we have to have something.
Yeah. It's harder to carry food back and forth. We found we had more time for one person to actually focus on saving and cutting our costs.
Yep.
So this isn't this kind of applies to groceries, but this also goes to other areas like energy.
Yep. You were able to determine, you're on a schedule for when we do washing clothes and when we do showers.
The hot water heater. We were able to do this because we couldn't have done this before because it would all been around the exact same time.
Right. And this has allowed us, for energy usage to be lower.
Yeah, to kind of cut that back because we can monitor it, we can look at it, we can actually see those numbers. Right now we're testing out, is it actually cheaper to use our eco setting on our dishwasher or the 60-minute setting? Because we know how much water and how many kilowatts it pulls that way. Plus we can see how many kilowatts it pulls through the electricity. So we're trying to determine which one makes more sense from an energy standpoint. So we're using that time to monitor it. Now, you're saying, well, Julia, you could have done this while you were working. I could have, but it was not convenient at that time. When you're a full-time work, at that point, you're kind of in survival mode, I feel like. You're just trying to get through the day and make sure everybody's taken care of and they all have their love and affection and get what they need. And you lean on convenience so you can give your extra energy to other things. So we really weren't paying attention to those convenience items.
Right.
And we were focusing on, I wasn't as focused on saving money in certain areas. I was more focused on just getting the jobs done.
Correct.
That's all we were focused on. And I would say this is just giving me more time to really pay attention because right now I haven't started our seeds yet. Last year...
You would have started before
I would have started before now. I'd have been freaking out at this point. But whenever I looked at Aaron, I said, we really can't put these out to the end of April.
Yep.
It's it does not make sense for me to do these now. I can set them outside, but they're going to get stunted in the pots because 6 weeks is about as big as we like to get them in their pots. That tends to be about perfect for us, as we have found. And I said, we're going to be wasting electricity running them. And he's like, well, yeah. So we're actually starting them a few weeks later than we would normally would have. So it's just really thinking things through based on
having more time to
having more time to actually do those thought processes. It's given us more freedom. So we're more freedom to invest in ourselves, in our time, and our effort. But not only that, but I feel like this is a misconception. Like once you become a stay-at-home mom, you kind of lose a lot of freedoms. You lose a lot of your abilities, especially if you leave the working force. We are also investing in my retirement. We're not just investing in Aaron's retirement. We're also making those choices to invest in my retirement as well. So we can still make those, choices for us. Because I'm still working. I'm not getting paid, but I'm still providing value for our family.
Well, I mean, eBay.
eBay. I don't really consider that getting paid. I don't get a paycheck. So, what do you think, for our viewers out there, would be the most significant thing that you've seen when it came to me coming home? And
it provides more time to look at it from different angles that you wouldn't be able to when you're going 9 to 5 daily.
Yeah, I'd still say the budget meeting.
Budget meeting helps. Budget meeting definitely helps, but
I don't think we would have saved as much money if we did not have that weekly budget meeting.
Might not have. I will say I put an emphasis on it to begin with because I was afraid that
I would not come. We would not. We would just. I would just leave it in his hands.
Well, I was afraid that we wouldn't be able to hit certain goals.
But we've just sort of fallen into the practice.
Yeah.
And we have a set time. It's like once a week. We know exactly when it is. I'm going to be making breakfast. He's going to be working on the budget.
Yep. Then we have our coffee and talk about our budget.
Yep. And we have the little one there too.
Yes.
She's involved early.
She doesn't know what's going on, but she says she wants to be there.
She says she's ready for the budget meeting. So this is what we did. Let me know in the comments below. Did you see your savings rate go up or down if you became a stay-at-home mom? I know it's a lot different for a lot of people. It really is. And I know, like for us, we tend to save almost too much at times. Like it can hinder us, kind of like we just talked about with the couch.
Yep.
That kind of hurt us, and it hurt us this year. And we've had a few other instances this year where we probably should have made those changes before. I mean, we knew we needed to make those updates or changes, and we just kind of held off and pushed them off to the last minute. That tends to be our habit. We will not spend the money until the absolute last minute, even though it's on our list to try to get the absolute best price possible.
Yep.
And then it can affect our savings rate. Like that's our kryptonite.
Or when all the best savings prices hit at the same time.
Yes, that tends to be the other thing. Yeah. Like everything hits at once, like 40% off sales on furniture.
Right. Yep. But, got any comments, questions, you can either leave those down below or send it to thecannycouple@yahoo.com. And make sure to go over and check out our link tree, which has links to all of our other content on all of our other channels.
And as always, thank you for joining us on The Canny Couple, where we work hard, live simple, and enjoy life. Have a wonderful day.